when she looked at me with those uncertain eyes and whispered the words, "I think we should take a break," I felt the floor collapse beneath me. The timing of it all made no sense, yet somehow it explained everything. Just days before, I had found out her ex had moved back into town, and suddenly, here she was, asking for space, asking for distance, asking for silence between us where once there had been nothing but love and closeness. I didn't fight her. I didn't beg her to stay. My lips parted, my chest heavy, and all I managed to say was, "Okay." A word so small, yet it carried the weight of my world crashing down. I thought maybe if I let her go without resistance, she'd see for herself that what we had was worth holding on to. I thought maybe love would be stronger than old memories, but love has a cruel way of testing people in that moment. Everything replayed in my head. The nights we stayed awake just to talk about nothing. The mornings when she'd bring me coffee with that sleepy smile. The way she'd laugh so hard she'd wipe tears from her eyes. All of it, tangled with the fear of losing her. And though she hadn't said it out loud, I could feel the shadow of his return pressing against us like an uninvited ghost. When she said she needed a break, she wasn't asking for air. She was preparing herself for something she didn't know how to admit. I remember walking home that night, every step slower than the last. The city lights blurred through my wet eyes, and people passed me as if I was invisible. Inside, I was screaming, but outside, I was just another man on a quiet street. My chest felt hollow, my heart heavier than stone, and all I wanted to do was rewind time back to when things were simple, when love felt like enough. The days after her words stretched endlessly. I would wake up, look at my phone, and hope for a message. Sometimes I stared at our old photos, wondering how something so beautiful could become so fragile. I replayed every detail of our last conversation, trying to figure out if there was something I missed, some hint I ignored, some sign I didn't want to see. But the truth was, love doesn't always end with anger or betrayal. Sometimes it ends with silence, with distance, with the quiet arrival of someone from the past. I didn't want to believe she'd go back to him, but the thought burned in my mind. Who was I compared to years of history they once shared? I couldn't compete with the memories he carried with her, the firsts they had lived together, the love that might not have fully died. One evening, I saw her walking down the street. She didn't see me at first. She was smiling, and beside her was him, her ex, the man who had left, the man who had returned, and now the man who walked so close to her that it made my stomach twist. I froze, unable to breathe, unable to move. My heart begged me to believe it was nothing, but my eyes couldn't lie. She was glowing in a way I hadn't seen in months. I wanted to run up to her, to ask her what I meant to her, to ask her if I had been a placeholder until he came back, but I didn't. I stood there, hidden in the shadows, watching the woman I loved slip further away from me with every step she took beside him. Nights became the hardest. The silence of my room screamed louder than anything. I would lie there, staring at the ceiling, wondering if she was thinking about me or if her heart had already shifted back to him. I kept asking myself, was I not enough? Was I too easy to let go of? Still, a part of me hoped. I hoped she'd realize that running back to the past doesn't build a future. I hoped she'd see that what we shared was stronger, deeper, and more real than anything she once had with him. But hope can be cruel too. One night, she called me. My heart raced when I saw her name light up my phone. I picked up so quickly, almost desperate, and her voice was calm, too calm. She told me she missed me, but she also said she was confused. She said seeing him again had stirred feelings she didn't know she still carried. I wanted to scream, to tell her that wasn't fair, that love isn't about confusion, it's about choosing. But instead, I listened. I listened because my heart was too weak to cut her off. I told her I understood. I told her I'd give her the space she needed, even though it was breaking me into pieces. And when the call ended, I sat there in the dark, phone still in my hand, wishing love was enough to keep her from slipping away. The following days, I tried to keep busy. I threw myself into work, into long walks, into anything that would stop me from thinking about her. But she was everywhere, in the songs that played on the radio, in the coffee shop we used to visit, in the smell of rain that reminded me of the nights we ran through the streets laughing like children. Every small thing became a reminder of her absence. And then, one evening, I saw them again. This time, there was no hiding. She saw me too. For a second, our eyes met, and I swear I saw guilt flash in hers. He reached for her hand, and she let him. That was the moment I knew she wasn't mine anymore. Maybe she never fully had been. I walked away that night, but but every step hurt like fire. My chest ached, my throat tightened, and I couldn't stop the tears. It wasn't just the pain of losing her. It was the pain of realizing that sometimes, no matter how much you love someone, they'll choose someone else. Not because you're not enough, but because the past has hooks that even love can't untangle. It took me weeks to accept it. To accept that the girl who once promised me forever had gone back to the man she once promised forever to. To accept that my okay the night she asked for a break wasn't just a word, it was the quiet permission. She needed to leave. But I also realized something else. Love doesn't end just because someone leaves. It lingers, it teaches, it shapes you. And though it broke me, it also reminded me of what I deserve. Someone who chooses me, not out of convenience, not out of confusion, but with certainty. And maybe, just maybe, the most painful goodbyes are the ones that guide us to the right beginnings. So, if you're still here, listening to my story, I want you to remember this. Love isn't about holding someone who doesn't want to stay. Love is about finding someone who doesn't make you question your worth. Someone who doesn't walk away when things get complicated. I let her go, not because I didn't love her, but because I finally realized that real love never asks you to compete with someone's past. And though it hurt more than anything, I know one day, when I look back, I'll be proud of myself for walking away with dignity instead of begging to be chosen. Because the truth is, sometimes the bravest thing you can say is not, "I'll fight for you," but "Okay, so stay until the very end." Because sometimes endings are the beginning of something better. If this story touched your heart, remember, never settle for someone who makes you doubt your worth.